Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Now live at 5 o'clock. It was 1 week ago that the dams broke in mid-Michigan. Now a new flood in Midland neighborhoods. All this debris stacking up people's lives. We'll show you being brought out to the curb.
Encouraging research on kids and coronavirus, what it is and how it could have an impact on getting schools back open.
But we're going to begin with a new problem keeping Michigan residents from getting their unemployment checks. And this time we're told it has nothing to do with a computer glitch.
This time it's fraud concerns that are keeping folks from getting their badly needed benefits.
This has been a long-running frustration for so many. It turns out identity theft has been a big issue during the crisis, and the unemployment system is putting holds on some people's benefits while they investigate. Let's bring in, off the top here at 5, consumer investigator Hank Winchester with more on just how big this problem has become. Hank.
And Devin, Kimberly, this is a gigantic problem. You're talking about thousands of people being affected, not only those who are here in Michigan just trying to file for unemployment benefits, but now people across the country reaching out to Local 4 to help me, Hank, to say, why am I receiving unemployment benefits from the state of Michigan? A new big unemployment problem, this one fraud-related. Sandy Hurt, who lives in Houston, Texas, reached out to me because she started receiving benefits from the state of Michigan, benefits she never requested. I spoke with her on the phone.
Got a bank card in the mail. That's what alerted me to the situation.
Sandy received a money card from what appeared to be UIA. However, swiping it could set her up for scammers who would have access to her personal information.
I asked to speak to a representative, and that representative told me that's from unemployment. I'm like, unemployment? She said, yeah, unemployment in Michigan. No. I did not file no unemployment in Michigan because I don't live in Michigan, and why would I file for unemployment in Michigan?
Now an alert being sent out about this fraudulent activity. A spokesperson for UIA saying, quote, we are working with law enforcement to identify and prevent scammers from accessing the system and will work to ensure all unemployment benefits are sent to Michigan workers that deserve them. The fraud issues now causing new issues for some trying to file and collect. Why? Some accounts have now been put on hold as investigations get underway. An unfortunate snag and a problem affecting a system that's been riddled with issues. This is a gigantic nightmare and a logistical nightmare for law enforcement because you've got people like Sandy down in Houston receiving a money card, essentially. One swipe of that and her identity is open to thieves. You've also got people here in the state of Michigan whose accounts are now locked because somebody with the same name, a similar name, or a combination of using the same social security number or birth dates have now compromised their activity. Again, UIA doing what they can to sort through these issues, but it's going to cause time delays for some people that are waiting on their benefits here at home. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester. Help me, Hank.
Okay. All right, Hank. Well, now let's turn to the coronavirus, and we are seeing a sharp decline in today's numbers.
In the past 24 hours, 68 people have died, but the state says 14 of those deaths came from a review of vital records. There are 504 new cases of COVID-19, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the state to more than 55,000. At his briefing this afternoon, Mayor Mike Duggan announced more expanded testing at the state fairgrounds site.
But the fact of the matter is, Detroiters go and visit the suburbs, work in the suburbs, suburbanites work and visit Detroit. We are one region. And unless we beat COVID-19 as a region, we're not really going to wipe it out. And so we've made the decision that starting today, anybody in southeastern Michigan can get a test at the fairgrounds.
The COVID-19 test at the fairgrounds is free and does not require a prescription. However, they do want you to make an appointment.
Got some big news from Michigan State today. The university says students will return to campus in the fall, but there will be remote learning options available. The university is going to end all in-person instruction, though, before Thanksgiving in the new semester and move the final 3 weeks of the semester online. School says that's because models predict a potential coronavirus resurgence in December. U of M so far has not announced a decision yet. It has been now 1 week since we got to see the magnitude of the flooding in the middle part of the state.
And today, Governor Whitmer was back in the area announcing an investigation into why the Eatonville and Sanford dams gave way.
Today I sent a letter to the Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, directing them to investigate what caused the Edenville Dam and Sanford Dam to fail. That has resulted in this historic flooding in several mid-Michigan counties.
Those dam failures did all of this destruction you see here. Today, piles and piles of debris line neighborhoods. Sean Lay is live in Midland with the long road ahead to clean up this mess. Sean.
It's a new flood here in Midland. I want to give Kimberly, everyone watching at home, a 360-degree view of all of this flood damaged stuff. Pieces of people's lives being brought out to the curb after being ripped out from the house. There's another flood here also because as soon as we pull up, there is a flood of emotion from the people having to deal with this. The moment we met next door neighbors Wanda Colson and Brenda Mills, the tears started flowing.
I mean, as soon as we started talking, the tears started flowing.
Oh my gosh, you'd think they'd be done by now, but they're not.
Right, you do think there aren't any more, but they keep coming. They keep coming.
They do. They really do.
But they have to. If they didn't, we'd explode. What else can I say?
The two relying on each other, both facing devastating flood damage in the heart of Midland.
She put a bunch of my clothes out to dry and help them pack stuff. Keep an eye on my house when I'm not here. So her and her husband both are saints. And all these people that have helped me, I can't thank them enough. Everybody, Red Cross, American Legion, everybody, churches,
schools, volunteers, neighbors, restaurants, you name it.
The two don't know if their homes are stable enough to move back into. They do know a flood of volunteers showed up and haven't left.
Overwhelming, just as overwhelming as the flood about.
And it was like a lift was off your shoulders. It's been a blessing.
It has. It's
really
unreal
has.
how many people have helped and how wonderful people have been. I mean, just everywhere. People have never seen before and I'll probably never see again, and I'll never be able to thank.
They've been here from day one.
Back here live in Midland, what do you do with all this stuff? Well, the city of Midland brings out trucks like this and a bulldozer scooping up debris house by house. Hundreds, if not thousands of houses impacted here. We'll walk this way here and also talk about another blow for homeowners. They were telling me that they were hoping to hear something from the governor today positive about that FEMA relief. The governor said it's short-term, immediate relief. Homeowners say they need long-term relief. The governor is going to request from the feds long-term relief, but clock is ticking, guys. Mold could be setting in these homes. Folks may not be able to get back in. We're in Midland tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4.
All right, Sean, thanks.
Well, it came down to the weather. A historic SpaceX launch at Cape Canaveral Scrub just about 45 minutes ago, just as it was getting close to liftoff, would have been the first time a private company sent humans into orbit and the first launch from Florida in nearly a decade. Astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken going to the International Space Station to test the viability of the SpaceX system, so they will try to launch again on Saturday. Got so close. It was about T-minus 15 minutes or so when they had to scrub it.
Yeah, we were all in the newsroom looking and waiting to see what would happen. Tonight, state lawmakers are demanding changes be made to the policy of putting COVID-positive nursing home patients in areas with non-COVID patients.
This was a policy adopted early in the crisis. It's been dropped by other states since, like New York. Let's get to Rod Maloney, who's in Lansing, where the issue took center stage at the State House. Rod?
Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Chief Robert Gordon said the governor backed off on some nursing home COVID requirements, combining positive patients in the same facilities as those COVID negative.
Reasonable efforts in order to ensure the separation of COVID and non-COVID individuals within an existing facility.
He reported some nursing home death numbers. As of yesterday, 1,216 Michiganders have died. That's 23% of Michigan's overall total. But Gordon admitted that as an undercount. He then showed locally reported Metro Detroit Health Department numbers in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties as having 1,372 nursing home deaths, making up 33% of Michigan's total all by themselves. Detroit Democratic Representative Leslie Love, who through tears told the committee her mother, who lives in a regional hub, now has tested positive for COVID, and she's furious.
Why the state of Michigan has chosen this path is beyond me. It seems like the most idiotic thing that we could come up with.
She quoted AARP numbers we independently confirmed, showing the median age of a COVID patient who died in Michigan is age 77, and 87% of all Michigan deaths are those 60 and older. Oversight Committee member State Senator Pete Lucido is also angry.
reckless disregard of human life. It's negligent to allow it to continue, but it's intentional now at this point.
Now, Lucido says that he is going to be putting legislation in the Senate to try and prevent COVID-positive patients from being put in the same facility as COVID-negative. Leslie Love says that she's looking at doing the very same thing over in the House. It's going to take some time for those. In the meantime, we did reach out to the governor's office to see if they had anything to say about the policy, the changes, and where things stand. We've not heard back. Reporting live in Lansing, Rod Malone, Local 4.
Okay, Rod, thanks. Well, as experts consider the factors related to reopening schools, daycares, and camps, it's important to understand how the coronavirus spreads in children.
And a newly published study in the journal Pediatrics suggests there may be a reason for optimism when it comes to our kids. Dr. Frank McGeorge is here to explain. Frank.
Yeah, Kim and Devin, even though there is concern about cases of the recently identified multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children, it is considered rare. And when you look at the bigger picture, children have accounted for less than 2% of documented cases, and they are less affected in terms of severity. This new report now suggests children may also be less likely to spread the virus.
Using careful contact tracing, researchers in Switzerland studied the way in which the COVID-19 virus spread to and from 39 children under the age of 16 who were diagnosed with COVID-19. They found that the child was the first person in a household to be infected in only 8% of the cases. And in 79% of households, at least one adult family member was suspected or confirmed to have COVID-19 prior to the child developing symptoms, meaning the majority of the time, the infection spread from a parent in the household to a child, not the other way around. Interestingly, among symptomatic family members, 92% of mothers developed symptoms compared to 75% of fathers. In an accompanying editorial, other researchers speculate that this information, combined with the results from other studies, suggests that children may not be significant drivers of COVID-19 spread, suggesting it is possible that because they usually have minimal symptoms with less frequent coughing, they may release fewer infectious particles into the area around them.
Now, this was only a small observational description of cases. Still, it raises the possibility that it may be safer to open schools than previously calculated. Clearly, more study will be needed before any broad conclusions can be drawn, though. Back to you.
All right, Doc. Well, much more ahead on the news here at 5. Here's Ben.
Kim, you called it last night. Thunderstorms in Florida were a problem down there for the SpaceX launch, and we could have a few here this afternoon as well. We'll look at both of those stories coming up next.
All right, Ben. Also, neighbors say they just wanted it cleaned up. New tonight, not why they say nothing is being done to clean up an empty house. Well, empty except for all of the cats.
But first, getting to the bottom of what really happened as Kwame Kilpatrick's bid for freedom is denied by the feds. That story